Hey guys, the name is Ikrit, and welcome back to another edition of Bad Ramblings, the series where I ramble on badly. Now, today's topic is a Yuri manga called Bloom Into You. Now that I've had the chance to reread through this manga again, I certainly do have a couple of different opinions about this manga. But before we truly start on the manga, what is it about? Well, the easiest way to describe it is that it's a romance manga consisting of characters who are completely satisfied with their current relationship, which is the friendship zone. They're completely cool with that, and they do not want to push any further because they feel like their friendship would crumble if they do. Now, you might be saying, Ike, that sounds really terrible. I don't want to read a romance manga where the relationship goes nowhere for like 500 chapters. And honestly, if you're asking me that, why are you reading a romance manga in the first place? Okay! For the people who want some more accurate summary of this manga, it's about two girls, one being Yu and the other one being Touko. Yu is a girl who recently, or at least during her graduation of middle school, got confessed by a guy, and she just doesn't feel anything about him, or, well, she likes him, but the whole feeling of romance and everything like that she doesn't really understand it, because she doesn't feel that whole heart-thumping, that over-exaggerated romance that a romance manga would do, because she reads a lot of romance manga when she was young, so that's really what she expected, but when she got confessed, that's not what happened. In comes Touko, who tells Yu that she doesn't exactly feel the same way as everybody else does when they confess to her, and Yu's kind of like, wow, I can't believe it, we're kind of alike. I've never fallen for anybody before, I don't think I'll ever will. And afterwards, Toko's like, oh my god, a girl who doesn't fall in love with other girls? I've fallen in love with you. And then that's the entire manga. So getting past the summary, I don't know if the mangaka was planning it this way, but the way that the characters, Yu and especially Maki, I guess Touko maybe a little bit, but I think Touko's just on the other side of, she's just super insecure, so I'm not really gonna count her, but going for the character of Yu and Maki, again, I don't know if the mangaka is trying to do it, or if they're completely unaware of it, but these two characters, I really like them because I feel that their feelings really resonate with me as somebody who is asexual, and I feel like this is the current closest thing I could get to a character who is asexual. I feel like Maki and Yu are, in a sense, on a different spectrum. They're both kind of the same, being that they've never really fallen in love with anybody before. It's just that Maki realizes that, and he doesn't really give a shit. He's totally fine. He's totally cool with just watching other people. He's totally cool being Cupid. It doesn't really matter. Even though the way that he says it in his own term, he's like, this is like an entertainment series for me. I like watching people go through their love life. It might be a little bit creepy to some other people, but I totally get that. And then on the other side, which is Yu, who also doesn't really understand love, she doesn't really feel the same way other people do, but she's kind of getting pulled with society, saying that she should be feeling something, she should find romance, because if she doesn't, she's probably broken or something, I don't know. So for the third time, probably, I don't know if the mangaka is going for that idea, but if they are, fuck it, man, good for them. And if they aren't, well, they are hitting something that resonates with the asexual community. I say Touko doesn't really count, since towards the end of Volume 2 and throughout Volume 3, you find out her reason on why she doesn't have feelings for any other people, and why she starts gathering this love for you out of basically thin air. Touko is basically following her sister's footstep, and because of that, she doesn't really show her true nature, her true face to anybody else but you, because since her her whole ideal is that if you love somebody, and especially if you say that certain that term of "I love that way about you" to her, she's like, well, what if I change? Does that mean you don't love me anymore? But Touko herself doesn't really grasp the whole concept of romance. She just thinks that if you love somebody, you know, you love like they're that special person to you, and she doesn't really want to be special. I don't know how I managed to come to that point, but that's also the other point I wanted to talk about, because Yu says that she won't fall in love with Touko. She feels that, to Yu, she is not special, so she doesn't have to be the student council president, the cool girl that everybody looks up to. And you know what? I'm totally cool with that whole relationship thing for now, mainly because they are building it up to the cultural festival. So I remember when I first read this and I saw the relationship between Yu and Touko, I thought to myself, wow, I kinda like this. Again, it's that whole thing of, oh, somebody who's asexual, she doesn't really understand, and at some point, and at a point, Yu was feeling jealous of Touko because Touko is feeling this romance shit that Yu does not get at all, and I'm like, I'm totally cool with that. That was, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't remember at this point. Time just passes by on its own accord, and I can't freaking stop it. But anyways, after I read Bloom Into You, I remember reading this webcomic called Her Pet, which on its own stand is kind of a good Yuri, but at the same time it makes me really uncomfortable. I mean, there actually isn't really any Yuri in there. I mean, between the main characters, there are these two girls who end up dating each other afterwards, but, you know, the main characters wise, the Yuri wasn't really there yet. I haven't read it in a while, so I should catch up to it, because I feel like the Yuri is finally catching up to them. I don't know. But anyways, after I read Her Pet, and I just felt that uncomfortableness of having to go through that, and reading Bloom Into You again just gives me that sense of uncomfortableness. Uncomfortableness, is that even a word? Who knows? Let me Google it after I finish this. It gives me that sense in a way, because Yu is just that innocent kid who doesn't really know much about the world, metaphorically. And Touko is that I was about to go into a fucking pedophile metaphor, and I'm just gonna stop right there. But again, Yu's just that innocent child. Touko is just this girl who is taking advantage of that innocence in a way, if you catch my drift with the kid and the pedophile metaphor. I am just going to move away from that metaphor and just talk about something else. By the way, I did not mention about the other thing with Maki that may come out as a creepy vibe. When he says that he likes watching the love story like it's a theater, and then the girls kind of end up confessing to him because he listens to them. You know, what doesn't a girl love more than a guy who would listen to their problems? And Maki himself doesn't feel the fucking love, so he just thinks, why are you confessing to me? Just go confess to the fucking guy you've been complaining to me for, I don't know, the past couple months, past couple weeks, you know? Don't fall in love with me. I'm trying to watch a fucking show, alright? I hate it when the actors fall in love with the audience. So yeah, maybe he could come out as a creep to some people. And I feel like during or after that cultural festival, she's going to maybe be able to express herself a little bit more around you, and you would be able to express her feelings, probably. I don't know, I can't really say it, but I'll just write it down in the description below. Anyways, if you wanted me to talk about the plot and what's actually happening, I mean, they get into the student council and then they start working on student council shit. And if you really think about the plot, it's nothing, it's really is nothing special. It's the character that makes everything better. So yeah, I'll get back to you guys once the Kotro Festival is over, because if it's over and they're still in the fucking ditch, then we're gonna have a problem. Other than that, right now, I definitely recommend you guys to give this manga a try. You can read it online still, and if you like it and you're able to buy it, definitely buy it. Support the mangaka so then they can give us more Yuri. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this. Please remember to leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe if you like my stuff. And, still doing that whole Discord thing. Check out in the description below. And other than that, yeah, I'm stumbling through my stuff. Let's just pretend I never said anything and just cut me off right there. Just